Yeah.
That'd be it.
There's G for goggles, producer. Sounds like someone's winning.
There is some killing going on.
Looking at the
magic.
score, I was going to say it looks like it's a 2-on-1 according to the HLTV bot. That was correct, but Knock can't get anything done about it. A pistol round was indeed played out somewhere.
And then night became day, and we're back on Ancient.
Turned the sun back on.
Yeah, the electricity costs of keeping the sun going were just too extensive, so we are going to be cutting that out for the opening 3 rounds of every game.
Keep an eye out for that on the really broadcast. Is everywhere, huh?
They literally did, though. The lights went out in... It was IEM Rio. Heroic were playing someone, and the lights literally went out, and they just played in the dark. It was brilliant. Clearly,
most of the players probably felt more at home.
Not far from it.
A slow round being played out by the Eco and T side, although they have bought up a few Deagles, so they're hoping that some early peaks might be punished. X5 puts the smoke down before taking that mid control, though, so they're not really going to be giving anything away, but they are indeed establishing some solid map control on the CT side. A good start, though, from K23, a team that I think we were pretty open about doubting coming into this matchup, considering their recent form. So to get off to a decent start like this and hopefully now overcome this eco without too much trouble will be putting us in our places pretty quickly.
Yeah, just a couple of Deagles on the board. Really no investment in this one from Apeks. Deco looking for a bit of information out A. Bomb on his back. It's a brave play to call, but down on 5 HP does get away with it from the time being. Problem is, as you said, this firepower discrepancy is pretty epic, and well, on the wall bang with support from top mid, Elian will open things up, just tapping away on that FAMAS. X5 fancies some of the action as well, and this one, yeah, just falls by the wayside. Would have hoped maybe if you're a fan of Apeks, they pick up a kill or 2 on those Deagles, maybe even save a rifle, but heading out mid on Ancient with no utility to back you up in that kind of a situation is just nightmare fuel. They're being peeked from 3 angles simultaneously. There's just nothing they can get done. Does mean, of course, that we will be seeing the buy a little earlier than we perhaps normally do from the T side of Apeks. AKs are out into round 3. And a little bit of utility in the back pocket as well if they want to plan something a little special.
Yeah, you can get away with this when you're on the T side. Not so much the other way around. Apeksjkaem wants to go very quick in towards Cave. Okay, manages to catch Rage, and the molly kind of forced him to either commit to the fight or immediately fall back, and I don't even think he really had time to make the decision before being charged, so it is a solid start from Apeks. Well, they do have a lot of presence grouping over towards B here early on, so I think they want to commit with it. The thing is, K23 themselves have made the decision to put 3 on this B bomb site, and they want to go aggressive. Railway might just catch the time and stick out a flash in hand for a moment. Looks like he is now ready down. He's going to go in for a peek of his own, but the timing not quite working out. It's 2 initial kills going the way of K23 now, pulling it back in favor of the CT side and taking a ton of control away. What a shot!
Apeksjkaem looking to do something to change the picture. Has found a double very swiftly out towards that B site. Apeks looked well set to deal with that aggression, but the kills just went against them, and now Kyxsan trying to change the picture. All 3 of the kills his team have got in this round so far are his, and Elian just out in no man's land inside of CT. Easy pickings as Kyxsan looks to tidy up house. 4 kills in the round off the back of that AK-47. Getting a huge amount of heavy lifting done for his team in what should have been an open and shut case for the K23 with that aggression down the ramp. Should have been trades and you're through clean and free. Instead, they find themselves first round shipped to the opposition, looking down at the half buy. Handful of Deagles and P250s to try and have some impact.
Yeah, I mean, they have capable players, though, so I don't want to fully count out the pistols, but it should be Apeks having their chance to get a 2-2 scoreline. The buy down into the next round will be pretty solid for K23. They haven't spent too much. They've kept around 3,000 on everyone, if not a little bit more on towards Elian. Magno, unfortunately, already getting caught with some early aggression. They have, again, just kind of focused their attention towards B on the CT side.
You can't blame them. frequently the most occupied site. We're going to see the aggression down the ramp again. They're losing teammates, but this will yield them at least the reward of information, knowing that there isn't actually anyone in support of this lone man peeking out of Jaguar, and Elian will take advantage for a kill. Again, though, is it all going to be in vain as the flank through the A site comes through? Jacob, yes, he takes a lot of damage, but he's still alive and kicking. The smoke beautifully placed to bait Nork in, and whilst Elian once again does a very good job of trading that out, in the wider context of the round, it's not going to mean too much. 3 players still up and kicking on the T side. Although, interestingly, they do seem a little keen to try and deny him this AK-47, so potentially an opportunity here for Elian to get a little more damage on the exit as Sticko just trying to make absolutely sure that a rifle is not recoverable. And with him 57 HP, this Deagle poses a little bit of a greater threat than you'd perhaps realize. He's looking for this headshot angle, flanked out all the while, but if Elian can find just a little connection, this starts to get very expensive for the T side. Finally, he'll be put down, but 3 kills off the Deagle. Not a bad result at all for the CT side, considering what they brought into the round.
No, not at all. On towards Elian as well. It might prompt the op to be purchased up with a bit of utility behind it as well. So yeah, exactly. Yep. I mean, you don't get tons of money for each of the Deagle kills, but when you're tallying, when you rack them up, it does indeed count. And see, a 650 there goes for the molly, which can be very useful, especially if you're getting rushed down when you're on that op. A fantastic start from Elian, though. 7-3. We'll see now if he can help his team get some rounds back on the board once again, as the guns are in hand. Early aggression around main here from Sticko and Kyxsan, so it looks like they want some quick A play. Unfortunately, Elian playing up close indeed manages to hit that initial shot back straight away. Doesn't even need to use the molly to retreat, I don't believe, although he had already thrown that down on the right side as he was peeking main, so that he narrowed the number of angles he had to actually hold.
Nice opening to find. First round he's had the big green in hand, already finding impact. Was going to question the efficiency of putting that AWP on an A anchor, but clearly knows what he's doing better than I do. And with that control established, and actually much heavier lean over towards the A site called by K23. 3 players here, including that AWP, leaving just Railway and Rajin. The lockdown of B site onto which an execute is starting to arrive here. The utility goes down for the T side. They still haven't cleared out Jaguar, and the rotations will be quick, but with smokes to lock out long, flashes out short, they should at the very least be able to get that bomb planted. Indeed, as they will look to punch in the numbers, the little bit of financial boost comes in, but very quickly the numbers are thinning. And with Jacob down to 24 HP, JL has got a lot to do from a very tough situation, doing what he can, trades his teammates' death well for 2. Being flanked out all the while, knows he has to try and play on the front foot, and that wanders him right into the crosshair of X5. He's more than willing to get a 3rd round on the board for K23. So a nice response again. First time that AWP comes out, immediately finding impact. And from there, just able to slowly pick away at the pieces of Apeks as they look to get into that B site.
Yeah, solid retake, keeping 3 standing as well, so they can get the weapons over to the 2 who went down, although they won't build up much economy. They will have the chance to do so now in this round, as I don't think we're going to see the force from Apeks. I mean, they could maybe get a couple AKs out and some Galils as well, so I'm thinking they might be considering it, but it doesn't look like it's happening. You never know until the last second. There we go. There's 1 AK. It's just a hero rifle, though, is it?
Looks that way. I would have preferred to have seen a couple of techs, if I'm honest.
Yeah, could have spread that economy around, had the firepower kind of spread out instead, especially if you are grouping early on towards B. We'll see, though. Problem is 3 Glocks. I mean, if you had at least P250s on those players so that they can hopefully capitalize on whatever damage this AK can do.
It is very front heavy, isn't it, here? They're going to try and use the Glocks to bait out trades. Put Sticko into the best possible positions on that AK-47. See if maybe he can find something with it, but it's a long shot. We'll be honest, it's a bit of a shot in the dark. Sticko now boosted up on the boxes, just hoping there's a peek coming through. But for now, K23 playing it smart. A little bit of a jump peek. Sure, it's a little damage, but the info's good. AK-47 spotted out. And again, these kind of half buys, you know, there's not the utility that you'd want if you're Apeks to get into this site. So it's going to be very difficult to get anything done with 50 seconds left. Realistically, what we're looking at is just trying to drain the util. Good spam damage at the very least onto Rajin, but as this late site execute comes in, it's still going to be a 3-man hold from the CT side. The wallbang, again, just chip damage, but not quite connecting enough. And with sightlines established and 30 seconds on the clock, you can't imagine this going any other way than a slaughter if we're realistic about it. The Pistols starting to think about working their way up the ramp, and here they go, just trying to swarm in, trying to catch players unawares, but it's a 2-for-1 trade. The AK's down in no man's land, and they're just getting picked off on the cross, or are they? A couple of quick kills have brought them right back into this, and Elian on 7 HP has got to retreat. Buys them half a chance, but as Jacob whiffs his spray, it's Nawwk left. 16 HP in the 1v2. Both of these players a single bullet from death on that Deagle. Can he isolate them? Can he find the connection? Or can he do something a little cheeky here? Working his way round. There's one. Elian, the last unknown. Tucks his way into long. That bomb all the while ticking away. He has got the kit. It's a 5-second defuse, but he's still going to make that transfer into the site. And Nawwk is having none of it. Doesn't even need the low HP. 2 headshots off the Deagle. The hero rifle comes through. And it's a third round. Apeks steal it away from their opposition.
That was nasty. X5 just heavily committed from the corner there and did not get as much really as he should have from that position. He had to drop on a couple of players really. At the very least, the second kill should have been found. That probably would have been the difference maker then to slow down the tide of players overwhelming the bomb site. Instead, they lose it out to the Pistols in the end. Everyone had brittle bones there in that final scenario. Snawwk gets away. 3-3 the Pistols alongside a FAMAS and a Mag 7. It's a full investment from K23 here as well, so if this doesn't work out, Apeks are going to get an opportunity to start getting a lead going here on this T side early on.
Big opportunity.
Both sides.
Yeah, you can understand it. CTs haven't got as much utility as they had in previous rounds, so they can't really play the proactive angles they'd like for risk of just being flashed and mollied and naded out. Instead, trusted to play the relatively passive holds. Only now looking for the re-aggression with a pot flash in. JL spots a lot of it. Wisely, perhaps, doesn't hang around initially. Goes back in on the timing. Does find the shot to deal with Elian. And again, this is exactly what you want from these kind of buys. When you're up against the Force, you thin the numbers, make it difficult to hold, and just pick the pieces apart as Kyxsan up the ramp. Turns my words into actions. Beautifully executed to get into B. And at this point, yeah, just thinning the numbers. JL gets his reward. Magnajez goes down. And for X5, I mean, an exit. If that, nothing doing, though. A flawless round. Exactly what the doctor ordered. K23 on the eco. And Apeks really starting to build momentum.
Yeah, there's not even the money for any pistols to be bought up, so a full eco Apeks will have the chance to add to what is an already pretty decent economy, all things considered. I didn't expect it to be quite as strong as it is. I feel like they're taking a bit of a stack here, at least in towards the middle. We have silencers off even as well. It's like shorts off when you're really ready to scrap it out. Unfortunately, they don't have the weaponry to back up the talk, and it's only 1 kill that comes through from Railway. I mean, considering they put 0 investment in, the 1 kill on towards Jacob at least is something. With his reinvestment, he's left on about 3,500, so he's got enough for a buy. Everyone else, though, sitting about 2 in the reserve, so it's going to need to be a massive turn in the tide of the game here from K23. They need to start chaining some rounds together again. No op for Elian this time around either. That was massive in the previous rounds that they won.
See if they can get something done with just the rifles this time. Nice nade damage initially onto Kyxsan. They're going to press the issue as well. Railway with flashes out. Multiple bodies looking completely the wrong way. Nawwk doing what he can. And they just about keep the trades coming here, Apeks. K23 look to up the pace. And in the opening moments, Apeks have at least matched them man for man. But the damage is significant. And the control, again, just starts to fade away for K23. The initial aggression works out well. But now they're starting to run on limited information. Jacob does swing in a little too keen. X5 gets his man. And suddenly it's K23 with a significant advantage as Apeks just trying to sneak up the ramp, trying to play any kind of a timing, but it's not going to work.
Shut down by Elian. There we go. They made the rifles work indeed. Looked like it was going to be scrappy after the initial exchange brought it 3-3, but managing to just lock it down. Again, as we mentioned, Apeks have plenty to purchase up once again, so they're still going to be in their full gun round here, maybe even a second one afterwards, it looks like most likely. So they have a ways to go to really start taking control, but a commanding round win there is definitely a good way to start off. This time they've got a lot more utility to back up the buy as well. A lot of focus towards B, as you would expect. Get that early control around the caves, and Eurasian, I believe, got really aggressive himself. Unfortunately, he's caught in the molly. They managed to trade it out. 1 for 1.
Kyxsan's been flirting with that, hasn't he? A few times now he's gone for it. Ooh.
Ouch. Oh, he gets
Railway.
caught in the retreat as well.
That's a tough one to stomach. With the swing across as well, Apeks able to take full advantage. Didn't really need the initial tag damage, but the man advantage found. Made 2 with a nice timing shot from Nawwk, and this one again is starting to fall apart a little bit for K23. The aggression that paid off in the previous round, this time the peak's just looking a little silly as the AWP is ready and able to just pick them off piece by piece. And again, at this point, realistically, you know, you talked about that economy of K23. It really is hanging on a knife's edge. You're looking at the save here. Magnajez and X5 able to hold on to a couple of rifles, a little bit of utility. Something at the very least to put up some kind of a fight into the next round, because this one is going to pass them by. There's no way a 2-on-4 retake onto that B site just isn't going to happen.
No, it's understandable. Even with these 2 guns in play, they can't really afford a full buy into this next round, so they're going to have some pistols. At least with these 2 rifles, they'll have a shot at getting something done, because Apeks really are in the controlling position right now. Even with K23 picking up that previous round, 1 here and there is not really going to allow them to build up any sort of confidence or momentum. Is it worth the hunt? It looks like Apeks are definitely looking to send the players out.
I can see it. They've got a decent bank account across 3 of the 5 players now. You know, if you've got 3 players floating above 4K,
they should
take away
the
rifles.
Yeah.
They'll get away with it, though.
I mean, do you even bother buying too many pistols? Raging maybe 5.7 at most. K23, I mean, it's a stretch for him to even go for a P250, because they only get 2,400 in this next round. You want to make sure you have a utility to back up the rifles in the next round.
Yeah, could maybe see Magnajez dropping something. Instead, he's opted to pick up a little bit of util and actually drop that across and try and give Elian the ability maybe to stall out a hit wherever it's going to be. Looks like he wants to take it into middle. Try and get one of those rifles in an aggressive position. That's exactly what they're going to do. X5 pressing the issue down mid early on, and Jacob just trying to time the edge of a smoke. Punished for it. Trade is good, however. A little fortunate for Kyxsan, but he takes out his man with the rifle going aggressive down mid. It's a double-edged sword. Yes, he gets the early entry, but that's a gun that is not going to be recoverable. There's no way in hell K23 will be able to get down there to get it. So Magnajez now holds pretty much the entirety of the defensive capability of K23. And he's going to go with a very heavy stack over towards this A site. Almost all the troops, Railway, the one exception, called in. And Railway's holding for the split.
Yeah, with Eagle as well, he might have something to say about it. Hasn't had a great game so far, so a couple of kills here would be a big statement. But no, unfortunately, Sticko is too quick for the M4. Now rotating in, going to be the next victim of Sticko's AK. Before the overcommitment costs him as he finds 2 bodies. But that's the information that confirms where they're at. Allowing for the bomb, as you can see, to at least go down on that B bomb site. But it's getting a bit dangerous. JL caught with his knife out. Elian's low as well. I mean, they don't have Kevlar. They do have a kit on towards Rajin, so that had to maybe consider in the retake for a moment. But once they're smoked off, they say, yeah, clearly they've given us no option. Let's save these 2 AKs, which are going to be pretty useful in this next round. I mean, sure, they have enough to buy already, but there's going to be a couple players who won't quite have the utility. And, I mean, it's just always nice to have an AK, right?
It's one of those ones where that round looked like it was going to go pretty horrendously, but they managed to recover it. And at that point, you know, you've gone from what looked like was going to be a very clean one from Apeks to causing them some good damage, taking away 3 rifles, and you've got a couple in your hands, and you sat there going, well, we could give this retake a go, but realistically, the financial repercussions of holding on to a couple of rifles, the, well, firepower repercussions of being able to hold on to a couple of AKs on that CT side as well, they do trump at that point, trying to give the round a crack in what should have been a relatively open and shut situation for Apeks. So it's a good save. It gets them into a solid enough position here. Good firepower across the board, but they need to start converting them now. You know, you've taken a couple of rounds now where you've opted to save. You've kept the rifles rolling. You've kept yourselves in decent positions. Now you got to start capitalizing. If you don't, it's going to go south very swiftly. And Jacob, with support through mid, able to just dodge the initial flashbang. There is counter aggression though, and that's full B lane control established for K23. A big win for the CT side. Oh, and they push it just a little too far.
Unfortunately, that win very quickly backfires, as you said, pushing out in towards the crosshair of Nawwk, who very quickly shuts it down, and they no longer have any sort of aggressive presence towards B. It doesn't seem like Apeks are going to start moving in that direction anytime soon. At least they haven't recovered the bomb as of yet, but K23 have no way of knowing that, and with the presence also in towards Sniper's Nest right now, there's just a lot of weaknesses in this defense that could be exploited. They could really split it towards whichever of these bomb sites that they want. A looking like the slightly better option, but they are throwing a lot of utility in that direction, perhaps to see if they can pull the rotation to punish.
Yeah, this is exactly why you would have liked to have seen that aggressive player just hold his spot, right? Just hold off. Allows for the rotations to come in, allows for the extra information, but without it, you've got to commit 2 players to the B site. It's far too easy to lose. You can't afford to have less than 2 there, realistically. And that means that you've got a solo player on A. He's picked apart by a push from 3 sides simultaneously. And again, K23 just nowhere near the action in those last fateful moments. Will look to save what they've got. Elian already taken some damage. Has got to be a little cautious for it because the hunt is going to come in again. You know, you look down that T-side economy, it's in a pretty solid spot. They can afford to start looking and trying to make this as painful as possible for K23, although it does look like the CT side will get away with it.
Elian will get himself the 1 kill. Tight angle on towards Sticko, but he has been playing pretty well when he's had this up in his hands, when he gets the opportunity, that is. Unfortunately, Apeks have just been very strong at trading elsewhere. Should be safe to save, there we go. So the op at least carried over alongside an AK yet again. They'll drop weapons over. 1 player likely is left on a weaker weapon though. Yeah, that's Magnum. They're like, sorry bro, you're 3 and 9. Raging and X5 gotta get those guns. He's like, fair enough. And he concedes himself down to an MP9. It's not terrible, but considering they desperately need to start winning rounds, preferably the remaining 3.5, it's not perfect, and they've been struggling even when the buy has been perfect. So let's see what they've got. What's different now in this round? It looks like, again, Railway's going aggressive anyway. We'll beat the Molly, and with JL already low, it's an easy enough finish. There we go. A follow-up player on the way in, though. That's Kyxsan. He's been playing incredibly well, but not good enough to stop Railway. Starting to find himself a little bit of form.
Just what the doctor ordered, a couple of big kills in towards Jaguar, and suddenly Apeks looking distinctly concerned, trying to clear their way in towards Donut, but X5 on the off angle has dealt with Jacob, and this one is falling apart very swiftly. Stiko and Nawwk left to try and pick up the pieces. But where do you look to go in this situation? The A site is not an easy nut to crack, especially with Magnajez up close. It's not even a boost angle, it's a self-boost. Now up on the tree, watching for this exact push. The MP9 doing its best work, up close and personal, of course. And from here, Magnajez upgrades himself to a rifle. Lovely little find. And Nawwk, well, how much can you ask of him in this situation? Dragon Law's expensive, but it's not magic, so we'll start to think about the flank, think about exit strategies. I mean, the money is still there. Apeks will still be buying pretty much to the half, regardless of how this one goes, but maybe thinking about trying to find some exits here. Takes a lot of damage on the initial spray, however, and now being pushed from multiple angles. He's got to try and get something out of this. First kill found. Flank coming in all the while, and how much more damage, how much more hurt can Nawwk find out of this gun before he almost inevitably has to surrender it? X5 on the headshot angle, the flick not quite connecting. Second bite will, and now with the backstab coming in, he knows what to look for. 3 seconds, really wants to die. And does make sure he does before it gets too sketchy. Couple of kills, not a bad result in the end for Nawwk, but for Apeks as a whole, that's a rough old round to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, they have the the rounds kind of to make a couple mistakes, but if that keeps on happening, suddenly you give K23 their opening back into the game, and that might be just what they've been given here. If they can get the final 2 rounds, if they can come out with 7 at the half time, then there's nothing to say that they can't come through with a solid T side of their own and make a game of this. Oh, X5 just about avoiding the nade, or at least the brunt of it. They're putting a bit more focus, aggressive on mid this time around on that CT side, wanting the pinch from Cave as well, it looks like.
I like the call. Trying to take some control away. We've seen it work for K23. You know, that lane play got them a couple of kills, and if they'd just been a little more reserved with it, it would have kept them the control. Gonna go for it again. This time, no occupation from the T side, so a lot of information gathered. They look to double pump it into mid with full lane control. They've got to be so conscious of the scaffold, Apeks, and that's going to leave time for this CT side already thinking about the rotations. Third body in towards the A site, one working his way mid without lane again. Apeks are really shoehorned into this hit, and the A site has not been particularly favourable for them in these kind of situations. They've struggled to clear out their corners effectively. A 2-man play in towards the donut, but X5 doesn't even need the assistance. Takes the fight as is, wins it clean. And again, just 35 seconds left on the clock. That man advantage now gone. They need to find a pick. Nawwk misses a sitter as X5 takes full advantage, and this is going from bad to worse. It's a slaughter. Apeks seemingly just getting lost in their own play. Kyxsan at least able to find one, but it's going to be a consolation kill. The charge of the Light Brigade is in, and with just 1 kill in the round, this is a completely different looking Apeks, dude.
Yeah, they've just... K23 have just come alive out of nowhere. The question, though, is it too late into this half? I mean, 7 is still decent enough. Hopefully, it's something that they can carry on over to their T side. The only thing is, there's always that slight reset where the pistol round, it feels like it's on a little bit more even ground. So, we'll have to see as a pause comes in. Likely from Apeks, I would imagine. Their buy is not going to be perfect coming into this round. They have 2 players who aren't quite there. Everyone else, though, is fairly flush for cash. So the op comes out for Nawwk, the rifles and utility plentiful for Jacob and Kyxsan, Sticko and JL. Probably go towards Galil's, I was thinking. They're taking their time. Either way, it's decent enough. They'll still have a chance at taking this 9th round for themselves, which I think is what Apeks need in terms of finishing this half in a way that they can be relatively happy at this point.
Take it on a positive, right? Finish with still a very solid T-side haul, let's be honest here. It'd still be a good half. Finishing on that high note, always helpful, headed to the second half pistol. Question is, how do you look to play it? It's the same sort of util mid. Nawwk has taken an absolute ton of damage outside of the B site. 13 on that AWP. But at the very least for Apeks, they have got that mid control. It's been tightly fought in the last couple of rounds. This time they've managed to get their hands on it. As a result, they've got more options to try and deal with this aggression into the Jaguar area. Railway and Raging currently occupying, but instead it's going to be a very similar start. Again, taking that mid-control, working their way through the donut. Without the presence there, though, we're going to see a lot more success from Apeks in taking that map control away.
Yeah, looking to see if they can push deep in towards the spawn as well, most likely. Split it back towards A. This is a strategy that did work for them previously, but never really in the 5-on-5. And 2 players still present on this bomb site. As I say that, though, the trades go the way of Apeks. X5 only able to pull out the 1 kill. Their rotations are held off now by that deep smoke that had been thrown in earlier on while they were moving through Sniper's Nest. So, for the moment, they have plenty of room to get this bomb planted.
Didn't even need the second angle on the offensive, just the A main push did it, and now with the kills coming through, it is going to be surely a done deal. Elliot, try as he may, can't get it done. It's 9-6 as we head to the half. Apeks with a slim lead on their map pick.
I'm still not enough. You wanna be done with him, you're stuck with him, 'cause you don't have the guts. And after all I've done, I'm still not enough. Still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Said that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you're asking?
The first half, I think both teams will be relatively happy with. K23 initially under a lot of pressure, but recovering well. And Apeks just able to squeeze a 9th round out at the very death on their map pick as they look to make their presence felt. Heading into this second pistol, though, still very much all to play for, and a very aggressive stance from Sticko, considering he's solo on that A site. Does very well to get the initial kill. Doesn't perhaps spot as much information as he would have liked, but with the rotations, the initial lane control as well, they'll be able to start to sniff out what this was going to be. K23, though, perhaps looking for plan B after losing an early man in main.
Yeah, actually moving it in towards mid, which looks to be the completely wrong call, because Apeks themselves have stacked things up, although ready for this aggression. Raijin did kick it off with the initial frag. Unfortunately, Nox allowed to fire back and just retreat and keep that advantage, but not for too long. JL had also remained forward up in the alley, gets destroyed by the P250 of Railway, who's had his moments on these pistols when they were on the half buys as well in the previous one. The previous half, rather.
Puts his team in a really solid spot here. Nobody actually on the A site at all from the CT side, playing a retake with Kyxsan. Flirting between helping out in mid and holding for this main cross. Aggression down the lane from Apeksjkaem and through. Actually, Donut from Nawwk should start to give the game away, however. Just a matter of timings for the T side as they start to plan some boosts, just trying to get their men across the angle without being spotted. Kyxsan now with the information to work with, smokes himself out. To get a bit of spam down, some good damage found. X5 without the armor takes a lot of heavy lifting, and Elian just has no idea about this donut flank. A little bit of a whiff shot, but it's traded well by Kyxsan, who buys the 2v2 now as the P250 continuing to find impact for Railway. Gets himself into the donut, gets himself into the afterplant. And at this point, with a man in the temple as well, it becomes very difficult for Apeks to really break this one down. However, it's a quick kill onto X5, doubled up by Apeksjkaem, and just like that, Apeks have got double digits.
Yeah, they had the kit as well, so even with that first kill, I think that was probably enough to hold off for the defuse for Kyxsan. Either way, Apeksjkaem making sure with 2 solid headshots and a 10th round for Apeks. That's the worry we had for K23, although they had turned things around as the half went on. Losing the pistol round here means that they are going to be in a pretty tough position. They do decide to force up what they can. There's a good number of rifles in there, 3 guilds, an AK and a scout. In terms of firepower, they're honestly not too far off what Apeks have. But if this doesn't work out, then it's likely 12-6 before they get the guns again. So this needs to pay off right now, this force buy.
The lack of utility always going to make it a tough one for a T side as well. very passive in the opening moments. The main aggression, the only thing they've really got going for them. But now they will use some of that very limited util to take out mid. Sticko up close and personal. Got to be careful here. Multiple bodies swinging in. Manages to find one. He's low enough for that scout to do it in one bullet, but somehow he gets away. A single point of health, all that separates him from the grave, as you said. And a rough old timing for Jacob. Starts to open up opportunity. They were thinking about doubling back out of that A site, but now, with a pick towards Donut, they might just change their minds and walk right into a very heavy-handed play from the CT side. Kyxsan with one. Nawwk there to double it up, and at this point, the entire CT side is on that A side, so the bomb will go down for free on B. The problem is, it's a 2v4 after plant, and again, that T side has got no utility to hold on to it.
Not really that Alien and Magno can do, I wouldn't imagine, here with a scout especially as well in play. If they had the two rifles, set up a crossfire, but right now the hope is Alien hits the initial shot, does some damage, and Magno can just pop off. Might get the player in the back of the spawn. Okay, not too bad. The problem is, as I said, Alien goes down in the meantime as he gets overwhelmed on the scout, as they just use their numbers, and Sticko's able to clear it up. Has the only kit as well. Fortunately, was able to stay alive on 1 health.
Yeah, it did feel a little sketchy there.
Yeah, it did. The amount of time, it took them a bit longer to get kind of moving with the retake rather than I thought it would. 11-6 though, considering K23 had fully invested there into Galil's AKs and everything. The fact that Apeks get it across the line with 3 alive is a pretty solid result. And yeah, as you said, we are going to see the force buy. I thought maybe it was just one hero rifle coming out there so that they could keep the pressure on and then still get a decent buy in the next round, but no, they went fully behind it. I do not like this. It's maybe even slightly better than the previous round, but still.
I could see the logic, unfortunately. You know, they got a couple of kills. Felt like they were getting close to it. They managed to get the bomb down, bought themselves an after plant, maybe, you know, thinking and getting caught in that trap of what if we'd done a couple of little things differently. Opted to give it another crack here, but the firepower only gets better for the CT side. The utility concerns continue, although Rasian this time does get the better of Sticko out on the A site. Despite the upgrade in the firepower, just not quite able to find his shot, and that is a big win for K23 as they look to double back now. Kyxsan is going to be under all the pressure in the world. Timing on this could well decide if this round goes for or against. As swinging wide, Kyxsan will find one, and he drops the bomb, but there's just too many bodies. Spots out some information, sure, but really needed to stay alive, really needed to get out of dodge, because now his teammate JL thinked up inside of the site, can't do a thing about it. And with one man, again, desperately isolated, the damage is there, sure, but the kills just not coming through, and the force buy works out beautifully. K23, a couple of big picks, and they managed to snowball it into round number 7.
Yeah, convincingly. I mean, we doubted the force buy, but clearly they had some confidence, maybe had seen something in that previous round with how heavy they had stacked things towards the A bomb site that they thought they could abuse, and clearly it has worked out. The money rather is not there at all for the buy for Apeks. It's only Nawwk though who's on the double eco, so it looks like they're considering it, and we'll hope to just get the rifles out again as soon as possible. For now though, that leaves them with very little to work with.
Yeah, you could see Nawwk taking a scout or something, right? Taking a bit of a hit. Traditionally the AWPer. Not the worst result in the world. Obviously not ideal by any means from the CT side, but it would give them that 4 rifle buy. This one, very lacking. They're going to try to be cheeky and actually fade through this smoke. And I like the idea. You know, you got 2 players at the moment looking in towards Donut. If they catch a nice timing here, there is going to be bodies looking the wrong way as they swarm on out. I think the jump through, unfortunately, just gives a little much of a sound cue. And whilst Jacob can find a pick, it's nothing more than that. The gap at just 3 rounds. And now, as you said, Apeks, a big decision to make on the financials. Nawwk could well go for that scout if he wants to look in that direction. The rest of the team are in a pretty solid spot for the buy. And it's actually K20, well, it's Apeks and then K23 calling subsequent timeouts as we look a little into the future.
Yeah, we definitely have a game on our hands, which I'm excited for now. Another another pause, I think, might have came in just as that previous one went away.
Yeah, we had one from Apeks, a second followed up by K23.
Yeah.
So both, oh, maybe the other way around, but both teams taking a pause is what we're getting at.
Clearly, the pause inspired some talk on the opposite side, and they weren't quite done when it was gone. Well, everyone has lots of time to think about what they're going to do in this round, which is quite important for both sides. I mean, if Apeks can take this now, the economy, sure, it started to build up for K23, but they could still take back control with just 2 rounds on the go. K23, on the other hand, just need to keep on building up this comeback. They can't afford to drop anything quite yet, as they'd be in a pretty rough position. So let's see what they have in mind now.
Probably would be able to just about skim a buyout K23 if this one goes south. I don't think it's the ultimate swing round in the context
they
of
can
their
afford
financials, but
economy-wise, but just in terms of the position they're in, they wouldn't want to do it quite yet. Try and get that number a little bit closer before they let anything slip away.
yeah,
Jacob took a ton of damage from that nade, I believe it was.
was lucky not to die. Alien swings wide on the AWP. There's aggression all over the shot from this CT side. They want the mid control. They want to try and put some pressure back on K23, but the response once again is to head out towards this A site. Clearly, this T side think they've found some kind of a gap, and X5, as the aggression goes a little too far from the CT side, is ready and able to punish. Another opening pick in favor of K23, and they've been so good in these kind of situations of just sitting back and letting Apeks die on their own swords. When you make these aggressive plays, you're sort of stuck between 2 choices. You can either go increasingly proactive, desperate to find the kills, or you have to retreat, and as they push in, K23 have been punishing every move they make. It's damage, sure, onto X5, but he's not down. With 2 players now lost by the CT side, this B and A site, for that matter, very sparsely occupied. 40 seconds, sure, but it's going to need a hero play out of JL to stop the charge into B. 4 players outside of the doors. And as the util comes over the top, he's going to be blind. He's going to be knocked out of this one. Crack angle doesn't find its purchase. The wall bang, sure, it's a tag once, but there's bodies all over the shop. And Nawwk, whilst he trades 1 death, has still left JL completely alone inside of B, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. A wave of offense into the B site knocks him clean on his arse, and at this point, Nawwk, looks at the save. It's 9 for K23. The economy in absolute tatters for that CT side, and this is what we said. You know, they have got the individuals, the aliens, the Rasians, the X5s of the world who can put out big maps, and they are starting to find that form here.
Yeah, I like what we're seeing, and this is on Apex's map choice as well. So if K23 can somehow creep this through into a map victory, then they'll be in a really solid position moving forward on towards Overpass. Although, again, Overpass still a really solid map for Apeks. They've played it just as much, and their stats are nearly as strong. But I think where the real kind of difficulty would come, the worst of the 3 would probably be on Anubis, as that's such a strong map for Apeks. So if there is any way to win this for K23, it's that 2-0.
At the very least, showing they're competitive. As you said, it does feel like it needs to get done in 2, so this map becomes very important. And they're putting up a show here. Could imagine, suspect that double digits will be on the way here. 1 saved AK, flanked by a handful of upgraded pistols. Nothing too significant though, and that's not a nice angle for JL. Right eye versus left eye peek, and the AK is always going to win that one out. A lot of damage done. Pretty much all of the opening plays pushed back by the T side. No real aggression anymore anywhere on this map for the CTs. That's going to be a huge problem, because lacking firepower, lacking map control, you're just going to get executed into, and you're starting to see it here. The response is to try and take some control back in towards the cave, back through Jaguar, but a Molotov and the smoke combined means Kyxsan's going to have to be very cheeky here, spamming on through, not finding anything. And at this point, a minute left on the clock, the CTs are in pretty dire straits.
I mean, that AK just hasn't had an opportunity to get anything done quite yet, and won't as Sticko goes down. 50 seconds on the clock though, so K23 don't have a ton of time to get moving into these bomb sites, and it looks like they're heading back towards this AK, so Nawwk, can he managed to single-handedly give them some hope in this round. He should have Elian caught off guard. No, Rajan decides to check it just as he's coming around the corner. Jacob on the bomb site in the meantime also taken out, so that's A completely open. The bomb is going to be planted uncontested. There is a player back in the temple, but I think he's about to walk into the op crosser. Although, timing-wise, that doesn't work out either way. He is doomed, already low health. Kyxsan only has a P2000 as well, so he's not going to get anything. It's a clean round from K23. They're going to giant Apeks on double digits. And if they win this next gun round, will likely get themselves a lead going.
This is looking increasingly solid. Apeks just not able to hold on to it. It's just losing picks as well. It's nothing particularly tricksy or fancy from K23. They're just winning their fights. And with all 5 rifles saved across, that's going to be a huge win for the T side. Look at the economy now, absolutely blossoming. They've got buy after buy in the back pocket. Apeks looking for a payday loan to try and stitch this one together. Nawwk can just about find himself the AWP. And indeed, he will go for the investment, but something has to change. The Apeks have tried the aggression, they've tried passive. What is in the back page of the strat book to try and start registering these CT rounds with any kind of consistency? Where do you look to go from here? Because at the moment, you are getting hung, drawn, and quartered no matter what you try.
Yeah, it feels like they've kind of shut off since they had the 8-4 lead, even, I believe it was. Since then, Apeks, even though they've added 3 more rounds to their scoreline, it hasn't felt like they've had any control on the situation. As Nawwk finds the initial kill, actually goes in hunting for more. That is crazy and incredibly risky, but he makes it work. Will it eventually be punished? No, he keeps on going. Nawwk single-handedly putting Apeks back on the board here, it looks like, as Rajan and X5 are left alone, wondering what the hell has happened. They didn't even have a chance to start initiating any sort of plan, and already the round has crumbled.
We said we wanted a hero from Apeks. Nawwk, exactly the man to provide. And at this point, 4th man spotted, 5th. Surely only a matter of time. Should just be able to clean up house without too much more trouble. JL thinking about pushing that ramp, but opts to back away. And there is a flank coming in onto the bomb carrier. Jacob working his way back down the B lane. Rajan aware of the possibility, but can't quite win out his fight, means that the A flank really comes to nothing. You could have seen a reality there where if X5 can get the A site, hold that bomb, can make its transfer, then there's maybe something in this still for K23, but without that bomb making its transfer across, it really is just one man and his dog trying to work out how on earth he's going to get something out of this round, and the answer is he isn't. Fortunately for K23. Yeah, he's not quite. The only silver lining, again, is that the economy is of no consequence. So he doesn't even really need to go die. He'll keep his hands on the AK. He's got 4,900 in the bank. The rest of his team happily to buy into the next one. And that gap, still only 2 rounds in it. You know, Apeks need to find consistency. And I don't think you can ask Nawwk to pull off a triple kill every round to get it over the line.
No, they haven't shown that yet. I want to see them put together another round here, ideally another convincing one, and that's when I start saying, okay, they're back in the driver's seat. At that point, the economy would be finally running out for K23 as well. They'd have another gun round, though, so there's still a bit of a ways to go before things get any easier for them. Let's see. Smoke straight down onto mid. Sticko is going to push it either way. Unfortunately, finds Railway, who eats a nade, and actually comes out much worse for wear.
Some techie movement from Sticko as well to get past that. Lovely little strafe. Been doing his KZ homework. Util is coming in, and the counter spam has started to tag Sticko up as well. He's got to be careful here. An A-site split looks to be the call, and it does leave this CT side very vulnerable if Sticko goes down. In fact, Nawwk actually transferring angles at the worst possible time. Wants to take mid as the rest of the T side are going to be working their way out of main. So they are going to take this site. And it is going to have to be the retake called by the CT. Still plenty of time. The Molotov won't slow them down one bit. With the AWP trend on Temple, this is a difficult retake to string together for the CT side. Afterplant's a good 5-on-5. Not something you see every day. Sticko looking to be the man to engage initially. But Rajan up close and personal has got him red. A free kill. There is a fast flank coming in through spawn. It will be hurt, though. An X5 on the 180 keeps his team in the ascendancy for now. 3-on-4. 2 players inside of main. They know about that late flank, but they've still got to take this site. There is still bodies all over the shop, and the trades only just coming through. Limited time. They're going to go for the ninja. They have to stick it, and they know it. The AWP misses his shot, but he baits the control just long enough. The USP comes out for a double, and he keeps them distracted just enough for Kyxsan to stick the defuse. Apeks, they are playing with fire, but they get away with one there for 13.
Yeah, Knock has woken up over these past couple of rounds as well. Gets it done with the up, gets it done with the USP. It doesn't matter. 13-10. K23, as I had mentioned before, one more buy with the bomb plant going down as well. They're actually not too far off another, especially with the loss bonus. So they're going to keep on investing at the very least. But Apeks have started to find some control. On a few rounds in a row, can they keep it up? Though the timing as the pace has changed up, a B rush straight up is too much to handle. Magno goes in and gets the initial kill and catches Knock off guard. And Jacob also just kind of tosses himself in desperately, hoping to do something about that bomb plant. And unfortunately, it's only the 1 kill before he goes down. But JL gives them a bit of hope there with that kill, especially with X5 low.
It's doable now at the very least. The question is, how hard do they want to commit to it? Because that CT economy has not done them well over the last few rounds. It's been close more often than not, and it's been very difficult. So the CT side can't really justify financially wanting to give this one a go. They'll just be forced to concede the save. JL probably going to struggle to even get that save out of there. We'll at least take that AWP away. Elian seemingly unaware of JL's positioning. Will he be able to get out alive as Magnages wants to hunt? Looks like they will just about be able to squirrel these 2 rifles away. Indeed, Magnages goes down to the bomb to make sure of it. So not a bad net result, you know. The economic damage is significant. The reinvestment from the T side will strip it down to nothing. But can Apeks really take advantage? They'll just about be able to string this buy together. Drops all over the shop to make it so. This is the round they have to win. This swings the entire map.
Very decisive round in this game. Neither team really having much left in the reserve. Elian beats out the nades. Provides pretty much all of the damage, bar 2. Makes his way towards the sniper's nest without being noted, so he could be a big problem in a couple of moments, especially if they slow this down and allow him to actually work from this position. Although he's not being super quiet about it, is he? I don't think he was heard.
I think he's got away with that. There really isn't anyone close to mid to realise what's happened.
Sticko might have heard him when he was rotating there initially, because he was kind of in behind A when he moved through the alley, do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't seem like it.
Seems like a pretty default setup, really. 3 players over towards B, a couple on A. No mid presence is the real concern here for Apeks. And you can see it's starting to drag a player out of this B site. Kyxsan's got caught in 2 minds about where he wants to stay and how he wants to occupy himself. 45 seconds left on the clock. It is going to end in a B play here. 4 players down the lane looking to make it happen. Elian is just going to be a rotation cut. He's not going to commit to the initial hit, hoping instead to catch Sticko and Nawwk as they look to reinforce their teammates out on B. So it will be the 3-man hold. JL, Kyxsan, Jacob, what have you got for us as the execute starts to come in? They think about playing inside of the site, but the Molotovs may well change their mind here. Kyxsan on the crack angle, spamming down, can't find it. Jacob on the cross looks for a little more. Good damage on the second man, but not the conversion. And that's going to start to be a problem here. Kyxsan doing what he can, but Elian has managed to chime in the meanwhile. That flanking play working exactly as expected. He cuts the first of the rotations. And again, there's questions to be asked of this CT side. They got a 2-man setup into cave, but Nawwk is nowhere near this one. Down to bottom of mid. I don't think he's even interested in giving it a go. So all that damage done by Jacob will be for Nawwk. All that economic damage found in the round previous won't matter. It's going to be the save called. The B site being cracked open once again by K23 as they find 12. And the pressure just keeps mounting on Apeks.
Yeah, I mean, if Jacob got away with that second kill, I think we would have seen a completely different approach. Magno's just loving dying to these bomb explosions. He's like, saving weapons? Who needs to do that? Not having a great game kill-wise either, so you should try and avoid some of those deaths if you can, bro. 13-12, though. Scoreline has closed in once again, and Apeks have likely decided to call a pause. You can probably confirm that. I don't have it open right now.
Let's go have a look, shall we?
Would be the presumption, as things are collapsing.
It is Apeks indeed.
Yeah, I mean, even did they have a weapon on the ground here for Sticko? I don't think so. So he's likely going to be left on something weaker. Kyxsan has a bit of money, could maybe drop him an SMG or something there so he can get the full nades himself. But yeah, I mean, if they lose this, K23 probably take the lead for the first time that I can remember. Anyway, did they have the lead early on? No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, they might. Did they go up like 3-1 or 3-0? 3-2, wasn't it?
You've got a better memory than me, mate.
Yeah, I believe Apeks went up 2-0, then K23 took a 3-2, and then things started going really bad before they started going good again.
A little bit of chaos in mid. X5 wants to press the issue and will find the early trades. An early 1-for-1 is a big result as well. Nawwk again just caught on the timing, retreating off the angle, manages to redeem himself with one. Needs more than that though, and that's going to push him right back into the crosshairs of Elian. And look at the call from K23. They know how frequently they've broken down this B bomb site. They know the rotation is going to be swift and ugly from the CTs. So they completely disengage from the B site. Bomb works its way deep into spawn. Rajin finds his way all the way through red. And now Jacob left with a tough fight to win. A good flick finds him at least a kill. And the fast rotation is now available for the CT side. They've worked out the lane is clear. They should know the A site is the eventual target. The question is, can Jacob get anything done? He's going to try, at least initially, to go for the cheeky play through the temple. Concede the bomb plant. Don't take the fight into CT just yet, knowing, in fact, that Elian is on that AWP. There is a flank coming in, but JL caught with nade in hand will go down, and now Sticko and Jacob haven't got the health between them. 32 and 46. Elian as well, working his way through the temple. Surely this splits the defense so comprehensively. Elian will go down, though, and that starts to open up an avenue back in. The utility is there for the CTs. Molotov goes down. Sticko to stick this one on the bomb off the angle, but it's a 10-seconder. He hasn't got the kit and he hasn't got the health. Railway burns, but he gets it done. Levels things out at 13 apiece, and Apeks just cannot hold on to these CT sites.
Jesus, if the molly was a little bit deeper, maybe if it was thrown from the back of the boxes instead, it might have held him back. It might have stopped him from being able to find that angle, but no, instead he pulls it off. 13-13 K23. Some of these rounds are incredibly close, but it doesn't matter. They keep edging them out. And right now we're on track to potentially steal away Apex's map choice. Economy's not quite there for a buy either. There's 3 players who could scrape it together. 2 of them can't, though, only on 3,000. At this point, you don't want to force, really, either spend the excess cash, get a good buy into the next round, and hope to take 3 on the draw.
K23 calling the timeout here. I think smelling blood in the water.
Okay.
Looking to work out how they want to break it down next. And yeah, this buy, it's not pretty, Dean.
If it doesn't work, they're likely looking even worse going into the next round if they're just going to force up again. If not, they've got to take the eco and then play for overtime. So it's put them in a position where they might not have another completely perfect buy before this map ends.
It's one of those calls where if it goes well, you look like a genius. Because you look over at that reinvestment from K23, right? They have not got through a round cleanly in the last 4. Everything has been expensive. Everything has been tightly contested. So you can see a world where you get over the line here if you're Apeks. You then break that economy down. They eco the next. You're 15-13 up. It looks genius. But as you said, if it goes wrong, the next buy is a half buy, then you're 15-13 down, and everyone's questioning why on earth you opted to go for a slightly half-handed force into this one. Pick up a couple MP9s, sacrifice utility, no defuse kits critically, considering how often we've seen Apeks forced into retake scenarios. Perhaps realizing that they are going to be very proactive in these opening moments. An initial charge down mid. Molotovs to lock out the B lane. Looked like they were toying with taking the control, and indeed the scaffolding peak will come through from JL to confirm the bottom mid is clear. The problem is he's not yielded them any early results, and again we're going to see K23 just slow it down, wait for the util to die off, and now with just 4 flashes and a Molotov, this CT side really can't hold on to this control for too much longer. Jacob's going to try and do what he can. Shoulder peek in the angle. He has got a Molotov, but that only buys 20 seconds.
Yeah, it still looks like it might be forcing K23 to make the decision of where they want to take this, and it seems like A is the likely target. There'll be quick rotations available at the very least in from mid if needed. But knock on the bomb site with the M4 that really you need to have getting most of the work done. So let's see what he can find. Molly's down. Yeah, pretty much all of it. Smoke. That might allow for a retreat if he can get the initial kill at least, but the flash catches him. He goes back out looking for the kills, and unfortunately gets very quickly punished for that play through the smoke. Did some decent damage on duration in X5, but it's still going to be a very difficult retake unless Sticko can just kill people through the smoke.
I mean, that's a good start. A lot of unconfirmed damage on the board here. Rajin and X5 tagged up, but Sticko then swings just a little too keenly into the angle, goes down. And this is going from bad to worse. Now, 2 players on the high ground. That is not going to be expected. Should be a 3v1-for-1 trade, and indeed it is. MP9 doing what it can, has bought the one-on-one, but Kyxsan has no idea about Magnajez. No idea there's another player in towards long, and back turned, he'll be executed. K23 again come through with flying colors. That force buy just leaves Apeks out in the lurch. They were hoping beyond all hope that that opening aggression would find them something. Instead, they just slowly get pushed back. The utility dwindles to none, and there's just nothing they can do except sit and be executed into, and they have not had the firepower to hold off those executes in this first map. Force buy comes out, and like you said, Dean, it is very rough to look at. 3 MP9s. JL drops to the Deagle. Kyxsan, sure, he's got a rifle, but again, there's no util beyond the opening moments.
Oh, great. They've already thrown out quite a bit of what they had to play with as well. They've got 2 smokes and a flash remaining. Oh, Kyxsan takes some damage. He's the one rifle player. JL also getting spammed away at, and the health is just being chipped down in these early stages. K23 picking them apart, and it'll be a very similar buy in the next round if this one doesn't work. So, although with a little bit of cash kept over on 3 players, I think they would be looking at a few more rifles at least. Either way, they need to think in the here and now, because playing for an overtime is never fun.
It's just not a call you want to have to make, is it?
No. They've gambled an A-stack here as well, which doesn't look like it's going to be the correct call, but there's still plenty of time to maybe adjust it.
It's such a reactionary call as well.
Yeah.
It's we've lost the A site so many times now. We have to stack it, and unfortunately, for Apeks at the very least, this is the moment where K23, we've hit the A site enough. We'll go try B. And as much as they are stealing JL's rotation back, and Kyxsan, yes, he is the rifle, it is not enough presence inside of this site. 30 seconds left is perhaps their only saving grace if they can maybe, just maybe, stall it out for long enough and call in some of those panicked rotations as they start to make their way through. Kyxsan's smoke is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, but they're not going to commit to the rotate just yet. They've opted to double pump it, and now this T-side are in a perfect position to punish. Sticko caught on the rotation, and they bail out a dodge. The full B execute called off. 8 seconds, though. Can they get that bomb into the site in time? They've got presence here. They can't. It's a miracle round. It's a nothing round. The Apeks somehow, some way, courtesy of the clock and just about nothing else, managed to somehow stitch together.
And they have destroyed K23's economy with that kill that came in after time as well. They get an op and a Galil. They're going to have some pistols and Kevlar, and this is a full investment right now that they're going for as well. So everything is on this round. They only get 1900 loss bonus if it doesn't work out, so fighting for an overtime will be even more difficult. I don't know how Apeks have managed to salvage this out of nowhere on time. Jacob with the initial kill, taking things a little bit more aggressively than we've been seeing from Apeks. I think winning that round has given them some confidence that has been sorely lacking throughout this half.
Yeah, that round felt like an experience thing, didn't it? Almost second-guessed themselves, K23. Tried to get a little smart with it on the pick of the rotating player. Not realizing that the clock was so low and they didn't really have the time to make that kind of a call. Going to go back to what works, though. Looping in towards the A site. And again, so limited for the CT side out towards A. It's Sticko, solo, in towards the donut. The nearest player is a fast rotation from Jacob. But K23, if they want to do this, they are just going to walk out into the A site unoccupied. There's one smoke on Railway, and that at least gives Sticko some kind of a sight line because they can't smoke him off Donut on this occasion. And Jacob actually is going to try and fade through this smoke as well. Up on the headshot angle inside of the boxes. He knows what's coming, but he's got to find some kills. Gets one. Sticko through the smoke, tries it, and loses out. 2 quick kills, and suddenly this is right back in K23's court. A 3-on-3, and these retakes have not been sticking for the CT side whatsoever. Elian, though, can't punish the initial missed shot. Good afterplants for the T side on at least a couple. Railway on the jump spot, but JL has started to thin the numbers. MagnaJez stuck inside of the site now. Teammates looking to charge him down. It's all on Railway, and they know exactly where he is. Surely just a matter of swinging him together, and it's a little sketchy. But they get it over the line. It's 15 on the board. The economy is in tatters for K23, and Apeks may have just found their miracle.
Back-to-back miracles, really. I thought that was going to go poorly. They had the MP9 as well. They had to create some distance. They didn't have much utility to work with on that retake. I thought the jump peak had spotted all 3 of them working out of the spawn as well, but apparently not, because I think it was JL still had to check the flank. Not JL, sorry. JL ended up getting that kill, I think. Either way. Railway, yeah, that's who it was, over towards main. They've got a decent buy, thanks to getting the plant down. It is actually better than what they've been working with over these past couple, but it's still not great. You've got 1 AK kills, a deagle, and a scout, and a tight angle there that I think he did spot the player jumping about from, but just doesn't really have the timing to get the shot.
Yeah, it's the kind of angle that you'd maybe hope for a miracle on the AWP. Picking it with the scout is very brave. I mean, I get you might just spot the head, but it's going to take a hell of a shot to connect it. Does look like K23 just want to up the pace again, just hit this B site early. Hoping perhaps that we're seeing a similar stack out of Apeks, but they've trusted their gut in terms of these holds. More often than not had 3 towards B, and they are going to have 3 here again. Molotov starts to split the offensive. Railway can get an early kill, but nothing more than that as the fading M4A1 doing a huge amount of work. Jacob even able to get the USP out as he buys his team a perhaps critical 3-on-4 as Sticko grabs another, and this is falling apart. The lone Deagle Eurasian to try and rescue a 1v4 situation. And how on earth is he going to do that? Apeks just completely disconnect. They know where their man is. They pin him in. 30 seconds on the clock. The peak comes in. The tags start to chime out. And it is going to be the 16-14 Apeks. I don't think it's how they would have wanted to get their map pick over the line, but they do get it done. And I think that is the critical thing again here. You know, you look at these rosters. There was a moment there for K23. They could have got that done. They opted to get a little bit tricky with it. They tried to...